Welcome to the November 2020 edition of Hunt Camp Mail. Coming to you from an actual hunt camp out here in the beautiful eastern Sierras of California. Well, November was a weird month. You know, the election was a total shit show. You know, and you also probably noticed that Beck and I took a quick trip to Mexico to do some fishing. And Beck and I only fished for one day, but we killed it. I mean, we got lots of nice 40-pound class yellowfin tuna, and I released a huge sailfish down there. You know, while it was snowing and raining back home, the air and water was 85 degrees in southern Baja, so that was a real treat. I also got back into the swing of things during quail season. You probably saw my quail fail video. Man, that was a brutal day. But I've since regained my mojo, and I'm back to my old form again. You know, I'll definitely make a really good how-to quail hunting video in the near future. And of course, my Bretta versus Benelli video sure seemed to ruffle a lot of feathers. I mean, I delete a few comments where some guys got into a really heated argument, and one guy even threatened the other guy. So I think that boxing ring I put at the beginning of that video turned out to be a pretty appropriate analogy. So before Governor Newsom decides to put COVID restrictions on YouTube videos, I better start reading November's mail. Okay, and I apologize, guys. I tried to start this video before the afternoon winds started picking up, but looks like the winds are starting to pick up now finally. So let's get to this mail. Our first question is from Dan. Dan wrote, "Howdy, Desert Dog. A fellow that I follow on Instagram posted up an interesting picture and question today. He recently shot a moose with a Barnes Vortex 300 rum ammunition and had a question about the interesting expansion of this bullet. I believe they were TTSX bullets. I thought I'd send an email and ask what your thoughts were on it because you have a good deal of experience with Barnes. I wonder, did the expansion pedals simply shear off inside the moose body, or did it not properly expand at all?" Well, before I go any further, he did send me a picture of the bullet, and I'm going to post that right now. Well, Dan, I have a couple of obvious things to point out first. The bullet obviously went to full expansion and lost its pedals, probably while crashing through really thick bone on those moose. You know, as evidenced by the fact that only half that bullet's left. I mean, that's a pretty damn long bullet, and it looks like only half of it's left. So it obviously expanded, went to that nice full 4 pedals, and the pedals broke off while it was crashing through bone. Secondly, since you recovered the bullet obviously killed the moose, you know, as it was intended to do. It looks like he shot the moose right through the shoulder bones, which is like shooting into a cinder block wall. You know, the fact that that bullet held together without any deformation is a testament to just how good those Barnes bullets are. I mean, I bet that moose went right down after that shot. I personally wouldn't be complaining about anything. Once again, I apologize for these afternoon winds kicking up again. Our next question is from Garrett. Garrett asked, "I recently got a Ruger M77 Mark II stainless steel and synthetic and 350 Rem mag for a deal that was just too good to pass up. And I wanted to know your thoughts or experience on the cartridge if you have any. I know you're not the biggest fan of Ruger, but the 350 Rem mag has interested me for years as a 300 yard and in gun for black bear, whitetails, and whatever else I can hunt in North America." Well, Garrett, I hope you can hear this through this wind noise, but I've been a huge fan of the 350 Remington Magnum. Yeah, but you know, I'm not really enamored by it. I mean, it was good at its time for a real short action gun or in the lever gun platform, but as a hand loader, I like the 35 Whelen a lot better. I think most people feel the same way because 350 Rem Mag is pretty much a dead cartridge nowadays. That's probably why you got such a good deal on the rifle. Basically, I can easily and cheaply make 35 Whelen brass from 30-06 brass. Also, the short action magazines that hold the 350 Rem Mag don't really like the heavy, modern, longer bullets, but the 35 Whelen really has no problem with the modern, long, heavy projectiles. And lastly, the 35 Whelen commercial ammo is common and easy to get, but by contrast, there's basically no 350 Rem Mag commercial ammo available as far as I know. If you're just hunting black bear and whitetails, I know it's not sexy, but any common 308 or 30-06 is going to be a much better rifle for that. People really complicate things just to be different a lot of the time, when the best answer is to just simplify things, and a 350 Remington Magnum is not simplifying things. Our next question is from Paul from Alabama. Paul wrote, "Dear Desert Dog, I've been wanting a Model 70 and 300 H&H for a while now. Your video was no help at all. It just made it worse." Of course it did. So here's my plan. Get a used 70 and 375 that can be found for good prices. So why not buy a classic and have it rebarreled for the Super 30? To me, it's a win-win. Relatively inexpensive investment, a brand new high quality 26-inch barrel, and a better stock, like your McWoody on your grandfather's 300. I am leaning toward this project because I'd rather have a 300 H&H than a 300 Win Mag. Same here. Please let me know your thoughts on this, maybe in November's Hunt Camp Mail video. Thanks, from Paul. Well, you're in November's Hunt Camp video, and I'm going to answer it. You're definitely on the right track, Paul. I get asked about custom-made rifles and 300 H&H all the time, and I always tell them to just go buy a used 375 H&H and have it rebarreled to 300 H&H. Most people don't listen to good advice, though, and ask questions because they want you to confirm what they already plan on doing. But I'm glad to see that you're one of the smart ones, thinking things through before you blow big money on that project. I have one subscriber on my channel who bought a used CZ 550 and 375 H&H on Gunbroker for super cheap, and he had a Leha 300 H&H barrel put on it, and that's all he shoots nowadays. That gun shoots under a half MOA with his hand loads, and that's all he hunts with now. So I think you're on the right track, Paul. Our next question is from Wayne. Wayne asked, what are your thoughts on the 300 and 325 Winchester Short Magnum? I'm looking for an elk and moose rifle here in Colorado. Most of my elk encounters have been in timber where I got a couple of seconds to get a shot. I don't see many modern rifles with see-through sights on them. Have you had any experience with that type, or do they raise the scope height too much? Thanks for any feedback, Wayne. Well, Wayne, I've never been a big fan of the short magnums, so you probably heard me use the phrase in my videos that a lot of things are a solution looking for a problem that doesn't exist. And the short magnums fit into that category perfectly, in my opinion. Now, on to your second question. Don't get those elevated see-through rings. They suck. People who insist on mounting them usually take them off their rifles after one season. Properly mounting a gun and getting an instinctive cheek weld are essential for fast shooting, and those types of rings are counterproductive to both. You basically have two solutions if most of your shots are quick snapshots in heavy cover, and I'll cover those right now. I'll do a little video on low power optics and red dots at home to further answer your question. Your first solution is to get a red dot, preferably an Aimpoint Micro.
You know, good red dot is the fastest and most accurate way to make quick shots in heavy timber. You know, but they're still perfectly accurate for those 100-yard shots as well. Option number 2 is to get a good low power optic, like this 1:6 scope right here. You know, basically on 1 power, you can make quick snapshots, but turn the power up to 6 when you want to set up a shot at longer distances. You know, and many of these low power scopes, like this one, also have an illuminated dot in the center. So you could get a red dot and a magnified scope all in one compact package.
Our next question is from Waleed. Waleed wrote, "Thank you for your YouTube channel. I've learned a great deal about ethical hunting and shooting. Moreover, my concept about hunting an animal versus being like a sniper has totally changed. I'm about to purchase a new hunting rifle, and again, I found your video of a versatile hunting cartridge very helpful. I would like to ask you about a budget rifle for hunting. Is it good to purchase a semi-auto rifle in the AR style platform, or should I choose the traditional bolt-action rifle with a versatile cartridge?" Well, thank you for enjoying my YouTube channel, Waleed, and I'm humbled that my channel made you consider hunting ethics more seriously. Now about your question. I wouldn't consider an AR platform chambered in a full power hunting cartridge to be a budget option at all. Have you priced an AR-10? I mean, they're very expensive. I wouldn't even consider that a budget rifle, but an AR-10 style rifle can work good in a hunting role. You know, especially for those high volume hog hunts like they do in Texas. But a bolt action rifle will be much lighter, cheaper, accurate, and more reliable. So I recommend that as a hunting rifle over one based on the AR platform. You know, budget rifles from Howa and Tikka are super affordable, lightweight, and accurate. You know, if I was on a budget for a hunting rifle, I'd start with those two first. All right, our next question is from Stratos. Stratos wrote, "Desert Dog, I love your videos and how straightforward you are with speaking your mind. You have actually swayed my opinions on a number of topics, from Yeti coolers to Model 70s. I think a video that would be very interesting is how you clean and properly maintain your rifles. There seems to be a lot of fluff out there with cleaning techniques and products." Well, thank you for your compliment, Stratos. You know, to answer your question, I just might make a video on this from a hunting perspective because, you know, I've been a competition shooter and hunter for many years, and rifle maintenance requirements between the two disciplines are night and day different. You know, unfortunately, most rifle cleaning videos on YouTube and articles on the internet are from a competition shooting standpoint, which is often the opposite of what a hunter should be doing. So I just might put my thoughts into that video for you. And our next question is from Ryan from Danville, California. Ryan wrote, "Thank you for all your videos on your YouTube channel. I recently discovered it. I'm interested in hunting upland game, and your video, Beginner's Guide to Dove Hunting, was really informative. I especially enjoyed your video on the history and application of the 20 gauge shotgun. Looking forward to the possible future video on quail hunting. May I ask approximately what part of California you live in? I get the impression that it might be the Southern Central Valley. Sincerely, Ryan." Well, Ryan, the answer is yes on both accounts. I do plan to make a how to hunt quail video soon, and I do live in the Southern Central Valley. I have extensive experience hunting California quail and lots of tips and tricks to share with you. So I think you're going to really enjoy that video when I put it together and post it. Our next question is from Charlie from Maine. Charlie stated, You have the best outdoor channel on YouTube. You cover material that other people never cover. And I've noticed that other big channels are actually trying to copy your content after you post it. Your video about the 7mm cartridges and the 6.5 Creedmoor were excellent. I have a question for you. Most serious hunters and fishermen I know around here are very superstitious. Are you superstitious? Whew, it's a very interesting question. Well, I want to thank you for your compliment, Charlie. And yes, I have noticed that a few very big channels on YouTube are posting my exact same content within days or weeks of my uploads. But, I guess after doing thousands of videos, they run out of ideas and, choose to mine ideas from the smaller creators like me. But, they aren't breaking any laws, and it really doesn't bother me. I'd rather be a leader than a follower. Now on to your question about superstitions. Well, I really don't have any superstitions as far as behavior or rituals that I go through before the hunt, other than just thoroughly rechecking my gear over and over. I'm just not a superstitious person by nature. But, come to think of it, the older I get, the more credence I start to give to the concept of karma. I know it sounds corny, but listen, I'm not exactly talking about the karma of ancient Hinduism, but a simplistic form where things go full circle, not from cause and effect, but from, an unseen force that brings balance to our actions. Almost like there's a god of irony. For instance, I was on the phone a few weeks ago bragging to a friend about how good of a shot I am and how bad of a shot he is. And I even told him, he's such a bad shot, it's almost unethical for him to be out hunting. In reality, I was trying to convince him to get some practice before his deer hunt, so he didn't wound and lose another deer this year. But I was so arrogant during that conversation that I actually felt bad and contemplated calling him back and apologizing for being such an arrogant dick, but I never apologized. Well, I went out quail hunting a few days later and, shot the worst I've ever shot in my life. Watch my video, California Quail Fail, to see for yourself how bad that day was. Was it karma? I don't know, but, it almost like sometimes my whole life is being directed by the god of irony. I can't say that every good deed has been returned in favor back to me, but I do know that every bad deed has. So that's pretty much the extent of my superstition. Our next question is from Rob from California. Sorry, Rob, the wind's kicking up a little bit here. Rob stated, I really enjoy your content on YouTube, and you've recently inspired me to purchase a Winchester Model 70. I've decided on the 7mm 8 for the cartridge, but I'm torn between the featherweight stainless or the extreme weather stainless steel. Do you have any experience with either of these rifles that might help with your decision? I'm torn between the aesthetics of the featherweight and the function of the extreme weather stainless steel. I live and hunt in California, but regularly hunt in other western states where rain and snow is more of a concern. I'm also interested to hear if you have any experience with factory non-lead ammunition in 7mm 8 in a Model 70. Thank you for your time and your very entertaining and informative content. Well, Rob, those are both great Model 70s. The featherweight and 7mm 8 would be an absolute joy to carry and shoot. I also think the stock on the extreme weather model is the best damn synthetic stock of any rifle in its price range. So I like both rifles. On your ammo question, I have used the Barnes Vortex ammo with the TTSX 120 grainers, and I've also loaded Winchester Model 70s in 7mm 8 with the Nosler commercial ammunition with the 140 grain E-tip. And, I like them both. But To tell you the truth, the last rifle that was brought into me, I believe it was a featherweight in 7mm .08, and he was having a little bit of accuracy issues, and I tried that gun, and I could maybe get it to shoot 2.5 MOA at the best. So he paid me a little bit of money, and I bedded that rifle for him, and it was a 3/4 MOA gun after that with the Nosler 140 grain E-tip ammo. So that's what he chose to use, and he's killed mule deer, black-tailed deer, and lots of pigs with that rifle. So, you know, according to him, he would highly recommend the 140 grain Nosler E-tip commercial ammo. Our next question is from Justin in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Justin wrote, I'm interested in buying a 25-06. I am wondering if you think this caliber will be appropriate to hunt caribou. I plan to put a 26-inch barrel on the gun. I do not plan on to take shots over 350 yards. The 25-06 will absolutely do the job, Justin. You know, truckloads of boo in Alaska have been killed with the 257 Bob, and the 25-06 has a little bit more punch than that. But I would consider it to be the minimum of what you'd want to ethically hunt them with. You know, that quarter bore punches way above its weight class, so the 25-06 will most definitely do the job with a well-placed shot. But just for reference, personally, I hunt them with a 300 H&H Magnum. And our next question is from Wilhelm. Wilhelm asked, Hi there. I saw your review of the X-Bolt 25-06. Awesome stuff. Could you please tell me what the maximum length the magazine will accept? Thanks in advance, Wilhelm. Wow, I'm starting to get a lot of 25-06 questions. Well, Wilhelm, when I get home, I'll get a magazine and I'll take measurements for you, and I'll post that right now.
Okay, let's get this magazine measured. This is a magazine for the Browning X-Bolt 25-06. And I'm going to give you a... You're looking at about 3.60. Yep, 3.60. I don't know if you can see that, but it's the magazine measurement. So this magazine is way bigger than Sammy maximum overall specs for 25-06, and with these Barnes TTSX loads right here, you can see, look at all that room left in the magazine. So I don't think you're going to have an overall length problem with the Browning X-Bolt with 25-06. This thing will load some pretty damn long bullets, some long, heavy for caliber bullets. So, you know, I guess I didn't cover that in the video, but that's another good point for the Browning X-Bolt. But be mindful, what's probably going on here is that these 25-06 magazines are probably just standard 30-06 magazines. And the overall length specs is a lot more for 30-06 because you might be shooting long 220 grain bullets with that. So, you know, this is easily going to handle any 25-06 load.
And our next question is from Martine in Palmdale, California. Martine wrote a very kind and sincere letter to me about how we have similar passions and interests in life. He also asked, like most of us seasoned hunters, I have a way of breaking in my rifles. Perhaps a humble suggestion on putting out a video on your method of rifle break-in. Well, Martine, I want to thank you for the moving letter that you sent me. And I also appreciate your suggestion on a rifle break-in video. You know, in fact, I think I can combine that with the rifle maintenance video like the one that Stratos recommended in the previous letter. Once again, thank you for that great letter. And our next letter is from Kathy from Nashville. Kathy asked, Desert Dog, I binge watched all of your videos with my husband and we really enjoyed them, but I can't quite pin down your religious or political viewpoints. You sound more right-leaning, but I've never heard you mention anything about God or praising a higher power. If you don't mind me getting very personal, where do you stand on this? If you would rather not answer this at all or do it in an email, I completely understand. Well, that's actually very observant of you, Kathy. I mean, you know, how could you truly understand someone without looking beyond the content and reading between the lines? And that's what you did. You know, and rather than assume something, you asked me. That's the way it should be. I'm not ashamed of my beliefs, and nobody should be, but I also don't force them upon others. So since you asked me and did it respectfully, I'll go ahead and answer this question on video, but not in this video because the answer is just way too long and deep, and it's probably the wrong place to bring religion to the forefront. So expect a video that answers this question in the near future. Our next question is from Jack from Houston, Texas. Jack asked, Desert Dog, what is the perfect all-around weight for a .30-06 bullet? I would appreciate your informed opinion on this. Well, that's a great question, Jack, and one that actually gets asked frequently. In my opinion, the perfect bullet weight for hunting with a .30-06 is a 180 grain lead bullet or a 165 to 168 grain mono bullet. 180 grain partition or 168 grain TTSX gives the .30-06 the perfect combination of speed, energy, and penetration. And these bullets are right in that sweet spot for your standard 1 in 10 twist barrels. And it looks like we have one more question. And our last question is from Julian in Canada. Julian wrote, Desert Dog, do you have any experience ice fishing? If so, you should consider doing a video on it. Well, Julian, I actually did a lot of ice fishing in Idaho with my grandpa. You know, he would sip vodka while I did most of the work, but those were great times nonetheless. But where I live, ice fishing opportunities are almost non-existent because my state closes most of the high elevation lakes to fishing from October through April. So you probably won't see an ice fishing video from me anytime soon. Well, thanks for watching another edition of Hunt Camp Mail. From the beautiful eastern Sierras of California. Hope you like the backdrop on this one. I haven't seen the video yet. I don't know how it turns out, but you know, it looks beautiful from camp. I have a few good videos planned for the next month, so keep watching your subscription feed. I also have some Christmas giveaways coming up on my channel for some items that have been highly requested, that are in high demand. So I'll probably do some type of channel trivia to determine the winners of that. Well, you can always contact me with questions and comments at desertdogoutdoors@gmail.com. That's desertdogoutdoors@gmail.com. I wish everybody a great Thanksgiving, and please stay safe during these trying times. And once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.